There we go. All right. Okay, everyone, welcome to the Wellness Education Series today. I'm glad y'all were able to join us. For those of you who it's your first time coming to one of these, it's just an opportunity we have usually once a month where we're able to talk about a certain topic. As part of WellCats, we have a lot of things to offer for everyone who's part of the Employee Benefits Program. And this is just something that is a good tool and resource to come and learn about different things throughout the year. And each year we have different themes, and we'll talk about that, what it's going to be for this year and what the topic for today is. But to start off, we just wanted to introduce ourselves because we're going to be talking, so you want to know who we are, right? So my name is Mariana Jorgensen. I am a physical therapy student here at Texas State on Round Rock campus, and I work together with Tyler.
Hi, my name is Tyler Bryan, and I also attend physical therapy school in Round Rock on the Round Rock campus. And we look forward to presenting this presentation to you all.
Yes, and we work together with Dr. Janet Besner. She's the department chair of physical therapy. She's also here on the call with us. And at any time, if Dr. Besner wants to chime in, she can. She's a great wellness expert and a great resource to reach out to if you have any questions, as well as us. We'd be happy to help you on your wellness journey. So we just wanted to talk a little bit more about WellCats. You can scan this QR code if you like, just to learn more about us. But basically, we are the Texas State Employee Wellness Program, whether you're on San Marcos or Round Rock campus. It is free for all benefits eligible employees, and there's lots of things you can be a part of, such as these presentations. There are group exercise classes in person in San Marcos as well as in Round Rock. They're different based on where you are. There are some proactive nutrition cooking classes that happen once a week. There's one-on-one nutrition consultations, health behavior change, and lots of resources. We'd love to help you. So if you have any questions, you can email us here or you can reach out to us on Teams. All right, so let's just talk a little bit more about our theme this year and what we're going to talk about today. So the theme for this year is called Discover Your Journey. I don't know if you have received the blog and article for this month. It came out yesterday, and it says that our theme for this year is Discover Your Journey. And there's different ways that you can do that. And today we're just going to dive into one part of it, which is your wellness journey. And we're going to talk a little bit more about all the dimensions of wellness, but just in your mind, think about what wellness is to you.
Alrighty, so if we don't know, the definition by the World Health Organization of wellness is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely just the absence of disease. I set goals for myself. So I set a goal to say that I'll work out twice a week, or I'll set a goal and tell myself, this week I'm eating more vegetables than I ate last week. So whether that's 2 more servings or 1 more serving, just trying to make sure that my total well-being is aligned. But before we move on to the next slide, we're going to play a video. What I want you to think about is a goal that you can set for this upcoming week, whether it's something really simple. I'm going to go on a walk twice a week, or maybe I'll meditate, or I'll call my mom. I haven't called her in a couple of months, or I'll talk to a sibling, something of that nature.
And let us know in the chat if you can't hear the audio. It's just a little video that's going to talk about wellness. So
next, we're going to talk about what is wellness. While you were watching that video, if you did come up with a goal, or if you thought about something that you haven't done recently that you want to start doing, please drop that in the chat. We would love to discuss it and see if you'll have that same goal now and at the end of our session. So before we delve into each dimension, we just want to talk about the comparison between health and wellness, and it not being an illness. It's more so not being physically active all the time. It can be you going out with friends for drinks, or it can be you taking time with yourself and actually being able to think and settle with your thoughts. A lot of us have issues with being alone. So when you think about wellness, all of the dimensions that we're about to talk about can help you be aligned and be centered and overall have a sense of happiness.
yes, and I know for a lot of us, including myself, the first thing that I think about when I think of wellness is the physical aspect of it, because it's most of the time what you notice at first glance. And physical wellness is a lot more than just exercise. It encompasses a lot of different areas that have to do and how it affects your body. That can be nutrition, it can be your hydration, your weight management, again, exercise, it can be sleep, and just the ways we can prevent diseases on our bodies. So you can see it as a spectrum. And studies actually found that participation in what are considered to be good health practices are correlated with the level of physical health status. So different things that you do for your physical health will have an effect on how your health is right now, as well as in the future. So this is just something to reflect on. What are different things that you can do for your physical wellness? Are you getting enough sleep? Is that sleep quality sleep? Are you eating enough nutritious foods? Do you get enough exercise throughout the week? Is that exercise actually challenging you to improve? And these are things that may seem time consuming, but in the long run, it is an investment on your own physical health. So it is something that you could benefit from, whether that be now or in the future. So you can begin to foster a relationship with your physical health for many different ways. You can go on walks. That's something that we do here on campus. We go on walks around campus. You can eat more home-cooked meals. A lot of times that takes a lot of time. I know as a student, I don't really have time to cook my own meals in the week. So something I do to have a better relationship with my food is to plan ahead. I meal prep on the weekends, and then I have foods that I know are healthy and that I can have the time to have better nutrition and better health. Something you can also work on is having a sleep schedule. Maybe you're getting enough sleep, but maybe it's not quality sleep. So you can work on your ritual before going to bed to make sure that you're going to give yourself quality sleep, whether that be putting away your screen time or making sure your mind is in a place where you can just go to sleep whenever you're ready to go to bed. You can also do regular medical checkups to make sure you don't have anything going to the side, like to know if you have high blood pressure, to manage that, and just to have a team of medical professionals that you can go to whenever your physical health you feel like is lacking.
Miss Anything, I saw that you posted in the chat that meditation a few times a week is working for you, but you often think of wellness as physical. And I won't disagree with you at all. When somebody mentions wellness to me, I'm like, oh, you want me to work out more? Cool. But emotional wellness has a lot to do with it as well. Accepting your feelings is really, really important. I know for myself, I consistently move in everybody else's world. I'm like, oh, okay, what can I do to make this person happier? What can I do to ensure that their emotional wellness is intact? But sometimes when I'm alone, or even when I'm with other people, I'm like, well, how am I doing? Am I emotionally sound? Am I actually taking my feelings into consideration? And then sometimes that plays out when I'm at work or when I'm at school. You know, when you want to feel isolated or you're having trouble concentrating at work. Say you're in a meeting and somebody is talking to you and your mind is just everywhere else but in the meeting. Or if you're getting sick more often than not because you're stressed and you're not allowing yourself to actually feel and say, hey, I'm going through something. Maybe I need to talk to somebody. So whoever your confidant is, my mother, I love her dearly. She's very strong and stern, but she's also somebody that I would call 10 times out of 10 because she gives me the feedback that I need. Whether I want to study or I don't want to study, she's like, don't you have stuff to do? So having that particular person in your life is really important. And I know for some, we don't have that, which is why in our previous presentation, when we talked about stress and burnout, there are opportunities here on campus for you to receive that help via counseling. So I would definitely advise taking heed to that. If you have the support, or if you're feeling like I'm overwhelmed emotionally and I just don't know what to do, try deep breathing exercises. That's something we also discussed in our previous presentation to better calm ourselves and make better decisions. Most of the time, as humans, we rely on our emotions a lot. So if I'm mad, I'm just going to say whatever I want to say. Or if I'm sad, I'm going to walk away, or I'm going to talk to people bad. I'm just not going to be in the best of feelings. Emotional wellness is actually taking into account how I'm feeling. And if I'm sad, okay, Tyler, you're sad today. What are you going to do about that? How is your day going to look from the beginning to the end? Even though that I'm sad, I'm going through something. So, the second bullet talks about involving the understanding and management of your feelings. Some ways to foster this in a positive manner are to practice stress reducing techniques. And I know that we've talked about meditation and deep breathing, but journaling is something that I've also started that I didn't think that I was going to like, but writing down how I feel, it makes me bleed things on paper. I'm a reader in the way that I'll find a book, probably sci-fi or something really scary, and I'll love it. Because it makes me think about things. My imagination just goes wild. So sometimes when I'm talking out loud, I'm not really hearing what I'm saying. But when I'm writing it down and I can go back and read it from a week ago, I'm like, dang, look where you were a week ago, and then look where you are now. So I hope that slide gave y'all a little bit of insight about emotional wellness.
Another dimension of wellness is intellectual wellness. And this is something that I am working on at the moment. A lot of times when I think of intellectual studies or just things that happen with my education or with work, I look at it as a task. Like, this is something I need to do. It's a check off. And once I do it, I will be better for it and more prepared. But I've never really looked at it as something that makes me feel good or that is part of my health. But intellectual wellness is actually a huge part that we need to look at more. It's just maintaining an open perspective, having that curiosity of the world around you. I like to think of maybe the last fun fact that you learned. If you have any fun facts, feel free to put those in the chat as well. I'd love to look at those. But it's just having your mind open to different perspectives, having your mind open to learning. And that really engages you and helps you see that you're not just going through the flow of things, and you're actually becoming more advanced or learning new things that will help you in the future. And something that I've always heard for the longest time is being a lifelong learner. But it's true, we should be lifelong learners. It's not, okay, you have your degree and now you know everything you need to know. It's not, okay, I've done this training for work and now I'm always going to be able to do my job. Yes, you can, but we can always be better. And that's why we should always be looking for things that stimulate our brain and that help us to really improve each day. Yes, yay to lifelong learning. Thank you. And it's really true, even if it's something as simple as learning a new recipe or learning a new way to do things at work, or learning from your coworkers how they go about their job. Maybe you learn a new way to organize yourself. Or with my friends at school, sometimes I like to ask them how they study, and just taking little things that they do and incorporating that into how I study. It really improves my way of going about doing things. And it makes me feel good when I'm able to learn something new and actually apply it. And they do it, build new skills and improve those that you already have, but also can improve your memory and increase your self-esteem. When you learn something new, you feel like you can be better and you can share that with others as well. So just keep your mind open to that and maybe look for a fun fact or a new skill that you can learn. Maybe not every day, maybe that's not always possible, but maybe during the week and share that with others. Dr. Besner says she learned how to use harissa, I hope I said that right, as a spice in cooking. It's yummy. I'll have to use that. I've never used that before.
Yeah, Dr. Besner, I think you should bring some. I
Yeah.
want to taste it.
It's yeah, I think it's called harissa.
Harissa.
I think it's a Middle Eastern spice. It's in a jar. It's not liquid, but it's not dry spice. It's somewhere in between. Yeah, it was really delicious. I put it in a dish with okra.
Interesting.
Oh, we love
Yeah.
okra.
Well, what do you know? We'll have to try that one out. All right.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about social wellness. And before we delve into the slide, I have 3 questions. And if y'all will answer via the chat, I would love that. So the first question is, how are you asking for help? The second question is, are you able to communicate clearly when dealing with conflict? How do you ask for help? Oh, I'm so excited. And then the third question is, are you okay being alone?
I'm with you, Margaret. I don't like conflict either. And being alone is scary.
Yeah, very much. Okay, so typically not asking for help. Don't want to be a bother. Oh, I feel that one completely. All right, let's get to that first question. So how do you ask for help, or how are you asking for help? So I'll give you a personal story of mine. When I started PT school, I came in and I said, you know what, we don't know everything, but I'm gonna know everything. I'm gonna study really hard and I'm just gonna get it flat out. I'm not gonna ask for help. I'm gonna be great. That did not work in my favor. Not asking for help doesn't make you look small. It doesn't make you look dumb. It makes you look strong. It makes you look as though I'm ready and I'm willing to learn more. So if I'm at work, for instance, when I worked in human resources, I didn't know how to use a certain system. Okay, we did the training and I'm like, well, dang, I still don't get it. You know, this is going to take me a week or maybe a month to actually get into the works of how does this work. Say that I didn't have the boss that I really needed to go and ask questions to. There was always someone in the department that I can say, hey, I don't have a lot of time, but I need to know how to do this specific thing. Okay, so I went and I said, hey, I need your assistance and I need your help. Can you give me 5 minutes? And 9 times out of 10, most people give you those 5 minutes. It's more so if you're willing to say, hey, I need help. I do need help. So if we take our pride aside and say, hey, nobody's better. You know, we're all here. We're all human. Everybody's made it to some place in their life and they needed help to get there. We weren't born. We didn't wake up every day and said, hey, I'm going and I'm gonna get it. So in relation to that question, put your pride aside and say, hey, I need help. Whether it's mental help, whether it's physical help, or whether it's help at work. If you're struggling mentally and you feel depressed, or every day you're coming in and I'm down and I don't know why, Find someone to confide in and say, hey, I need you. I need someone. I need something. The second question about, are you able to communicate effectively and clearly when you have difficulty? Oh yeah, yeah, it's hard. I don't know if you see me, but I'm grabbing my fingers because that it's a hard pill to swallow. Being able to effectively communicate while in conflict. So let's give an example. I'm walking into a restaurant and Mariana walks in too, and she bumps my elbow and my food hits the floor. I'm livid. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. But Mariana says, oh, my apologies. I didn't mean to do that. I'm upset about it because now my food is all over the floor. But how I deal with it, it's okay. Because at the end of the day, it's food. My life isn't over. I can go get more, or I can go home and make noodles because that was my last $10. Or we can think of another situation where I'm at work and I'm having difficulties with a coworker. And it's like every time I come into work, he's just there. Oh, and he comes into my office and he knows he's bothering me, but he's gonna stand over me and say, what are you doing? Well, I need this by 3 o'clock and it's 2:30. Okay. Being able to effectively communicate while in conflict, while I'm upset. The conflict being, it's only 30 minutes till 3. You know that this is going to take me over an hour. How am I going to get it done? How am I going to release some of the tension or the anger that I have in order to get my work done? Say, hey, Mariana, I understand that you need this done by 3 o'clock. However, it is 2:30. I will do my best in getting this completed for you. I really have a problem with you coming in and telling me that you need something 30 minutes, and I don't have that time. So I would appreciate it if you were able to give it to me in a more, or give it to me in more time so that I can get it done accurately and completely. So it's not half done. Simply being able to
in harmony with others.
Yeah. Play in harmony with others. And even if that doesn't work, you being able to say that and get it off your chest, releasing some tension and saying, hey, I'm just going to do the best that I can and move on. The last, are you okay with being alone? A couple of months ago, I was not okay with being alone. I felt like, why are my thoughts running and roaming so worrisome? I'm like, what are all these bad thoughts? Where are all these bad thoughts coming from? Because I've never had to sit by myself. Moving away from home, I was like, okay, this is a little weird. But being able to accept yourself for who you are and love yourself for who you are, and saying, hey, time by myself isn't negative, it's positive. Me taking myself on a date or going on a walk or just being able to sit and eat in silence isn't bad. Thinking positively, I love me. And if I'm okay with me by myself, I know that when other people come in my life, I would appreciate it more. Me being able to sit in a group and say, hey, I'm not alone. I'm here with everybody else and we're all together.
And Dr. Besner wrote a lot of great things in the chat about perfectionism and how when you're striving to always be perfect, it can be very self-focused on how you can improve and also being other focused on what other people will think. And if you are always thinking about that, that's obviously not going to be very healthy for you to always be anxious about what other people are thinking about you and how constantly you can improve. And so I like how it says that societal pressures are real. They really are, especially when you're pressuring that all on yourself. And it takes a lot of focus, she says, to turn our focus from societal ideals to what we really want. So that's a huge part of social wellness, just like Tyler said, to really live in harmony with others but also just live in harmony with yourself and take it easy on yourself, that it's okay if maybe there's room to improve. That's what it's all about. It's a journey. It's a journey of wellness. And so just setting little goals for yourself. We'll talk about that at the end on how to make a goal achievable and realistic and how to give yourself a plan to achieve that. So that's a really great aspect that we should remember when we're talking about that at the end. So another dimension of wellness is spiritual wellness. And spiritual wellness, it can look different for everyone, because when you think about spirituality, there's a lot of people who will look at it just as from like a religious aspect, but it can also just be having a deep appreciation for who you are and what you stand for. It can be anything from, I don't know, maybe the volunteer work that you're a part of, maybe a church group you're a part of, or just what your ideals are, what motivates you to be better, what motivates you to say, hey, this is what I am and this is what I stand for. I know for myself, it's a spectrum from, I think about my spiritual wellness, what that looked like when I was in high school and college and what that looks like now. And I still have the same ideals. I still have the same things that I stand for, but the way I go about my spiritual wellness is different. So you don't always have to have the same thing, the same layout of what something needs to look like. It's just having that time to stand back and say, what gives me purpose? What makes me feel fulfilled? What makes me feel like this is who I am, and when I do this, it makes me feel like I'm being better or I'm fulfilling my purpose. Sometimes I feel bad whenever I'm not doing something that fulfills my purpose, but maybe it's because I have a lot of other things on my plate. So I know we're going through a lot of different dimensions of wellness, and it's going to be impossible to be 100% in each of these aspects of wellness. But when you look through all of these and you see which one maybe you're lacking in that you want to be better at, then that's something that you can really focus on, maybe at that time of your life, and set goals for yourself. So something that I put here is, are there any daily practices that you have that are consistent with your personal values and beliefs? For me, I remember in college, I would be such a huge part of my church group. I would go to church every Sunday and I would go to Bible study groups. And my first year of grad school, I felt so bad because I didn't have the time to do all that. And I felt like I was really lacking in that area just because I didn't have the time that I did in college. But now I've kind of gotten into the flow of things, and I still am a part of my church group and I do what I can, but I try to find a balance. And I feel that spiritual wellness still, even though it doesn't look the same as I did in college, I'm still having that sense of purpose and doing things that help me fulfill that. And it's important to be open to the beliefs of others, because maybe the way you go about your spiritual wellness isn't going to be the same that another person does. But as long as we're all living in harmony with each other, like we said in the social wellness, it'll really help you to align those two and just find what works for you. And remember to go easy on yourself, like we said, and just find what your purpose is and what things or activities help you to fulfill that purpose. Being present and intentional are habits that I consider spiritual wellness. I agree. I think that's a great part of meditation. Sometimes we're going so fast with everything, and there's parts of us that are like wanting to come out, but we don't pay attention to them. So just being present and mindful of what you're doing in that moment can really help you with your spiritual wellness. Thank you. I like that in the chat. If anyone else wants to chime in, feel free to unmute or put it in the chat as well.
Alrighty, so now we're going to talk about environmental wellness. Going back to the previous dimensions that we've already discussed, thinking of your happy place and what are your attributes of that place, what makes you feel comfortable. Bringing those aspects to light, whether it's going to a museum or going outside. I know in the city you can't really see the stars, but maybe taking a drive and then going and laying in the back of your car, and maybe going to an outdoor movie and being able to be present in the environment is really special. We can also talk about how printing less, because we use a lot of paper. I'm guilty of that. I'm a paper reader and not a computer reader. We can also look at using more produced goods. So either building a little garden ourselves, or purchasing from the store actual fruits and vegetables and not so much those that are processed. We can also take into account the amount of water that we use. I'm guilty as well. When I'm brushing my teeth, sometimes I let the water run, for the 5 minutes that I'm brushing my teeth. I'm guilty of it. So that's something that can also help with our water bills, because I don't know about y'all, but my bills are ranking up too high. Or even when we're taking into account recycling and reduced waste. So I don't see a lot of buckets, but we do have a few buckets in our building where we can place water bottles and other plastic goods or plastic wrappers, so that we're not putting them in the same place in which we're throwing food away. Or even at your apartment complexes or right down the road from the subdivision where they have the big containers where you can place all your boxes and such. I see so many people throwing food in the same containers while people are working so hard to separate them and provide a good environment. So these are some things that we can help and boost our environment and strive and thrive in the environment that we're living in.
Yes, thank you. Okay, occupational wellness. So this is something that applies to all of us as we are going through our occupations or preparing for our next occupation. It's really finding that work-life balance, and that's easier said than done. I'm sure you can all relate to that. I really like this graphic because he's really trying to have a hold on his life and wellness, but sometimes work can take up a lot of your time and a lot of your stress. It can come from that. But it's very important to maybe not have that perfect balance. It can be very difficult to have, but to feel happy with where that balance is at. I like how he's struggling to hold up that weight, but he still looks happy. So sometimes we're going to have to sacrifice a little bit of time to give more attention to work, or maybe you need to sacrifice some time from work to give more attention to life, but just really being self-aware of where that attention really needs to be focused on. And so occupational wellness is defined as the ability to achieve a balance between work and leisure in a way that promotes health, sense of personal satisfaction, and is for most people financially rewarding. So just think about the things in your life that are for leisure, but also give you fulfillment in the aspects of health. That can be a recreational activity that can count as physical exercise. It could be a sport. It could be a leisure activity such as journaling or hiking that gives you that time to just be grounded and more self-aware or in the moment, like we said. And those things sometimes, at least for myself, it can stress me out if it's taking away time that I should be working on something, whether that's work or school related. But in the long run, that's going to help you be more focused when you are doing your work so that you're not so stressed or burnt out. So it is important to engage in things that help you feel at your best so that you can perform at your best. So some signs that you can see if you are doing well in that dimension of occupational wellness are that you're engaged in your work. You're motivated to do your work. You find your work interesting. You understand how to balance your time. You work in a way that fits your personal learning style, because we all learn in different ways. You communicate well and you collaborate with others. You work independently and with others. You feel inspired and challenged in the workplace. And you feel good at the end of the day about the work you've accomplished. Now that sounds all good on paper, but maybe you don't feel that all the time every day, and that's okay. Maybe one of these bullet points you feel like you're really good at. Maybe you find your work to be very difficult and heavy, but it's interesting to you. Maybe your work is kind of heavy, but you are able to communicate that with others and delegate tasks so that it's not all on you. But if there is a bullet point here that you feel like is difficult for you or that you need working on, maybe that's something that you can set a goal for yourself so that your occupational wellness can improve. Because when that wellness in your occupation improves, that balance between work and life is able to feel more manageable.
All right, we are almost there. Financial wellness. This is really important, because money doesn't rule the world, but it is really important in order for us to function in the world. That being said, we want to show y'all a spreadsheet template. This is something that I use, and it's really simple to create, even if you are a novice with using Excel, in which I am. I have to Google a lot to get some help. But writing down how much money you're spending weekly, monthly can be really beneficial, and it can tell you whether you're over budget or whether you're under budget. It can tell you, say, hey, well, Tyler, I got $40 more that I can spend this month on going out to eat. I'm like, I'm going to take myself to Panda because I miss the noodles and rice and the orange chicken. So financial wellness is really imperative in the way that it can positively and negatively impact your life. So if you have no money, well, that means, how am I supposed to pay my bills? How am I supposed to eat? How am I going to function? So then every day I'm going into, I'm not in the best shape, mentally, physically, emotionally, in any realm. But positively, we can take steps forward and say, hey, I'm going to be proactive in my financial wellness. We're going to go back to the slide. According to U.S. Consumer Protection Financial Bureau, financial wellness is being able to fully meet your current and future financial obligations while feeling secure in your financial future and making choices that allow you to enjoy life. So with making the template, you don't have to do it. I know that for me, it helps tell me, do I have the money to spend or do I not have the money to spend? Or did rent just take all my money this month? Making those financial choices to not only be proactive, but to be happy are really imperative.
And it goes along with occupational wellness. When you feel like you're having that work-life balance, you are less stressed about your finances because you know you're getting your work done, and it just helps a lot. A lot of these go hand in hand. So in summary, we just wanted to show this video at the end. It talks about all the dimensions of wellness, and maybe you can make some connections between the different dimensions and think about the goals that you had at the beginning and what those goals look like now, to see if there's maybe one or two areas where you feel like you really want to put your focus on at this time in your life.
Wellness is an active process of being aware and making choices toward a healthy and fulfilling life. Wellness is more than being free from illness. It's an ongoing process of change and growth. There are 8 dimensions of wellness: emotional, environmental, financial, intellectual, occupational, physical, social, and spiritual. Each dimension of wellness is interconnected with the others, and all are equally important in the pursuit of optimum health. One can reach an optimal level by understanding how to maintain and improve each dimension, and by creating balance. Understand your feelings. Express them to people you trust and maintain a positive outlook. It's important to pay attention to self-care, relaxation, stress reduction, and the development of inner resources so you can learn and grow from your experiences. Find surroundings that encourage good physical and mental health, and also where you feel safe. A positive environment has a calming effect. Environmental wellness inspires us to live a lifestyle that is aware and respectful of our surroundings. Make it a point to understand your finances. Money plays a critical role in our lives, and not having enough impacts health as well as academic performance. Establish good financial habits and plan for the future. Be a lifelong learner by expanding your knowledge and finding creative outlets that stimulate your mind and sense of curiosity. Be open to new ideas, insights, and wisdom. Actively participate in scholastic, cultural, and community activities. Look for satisfaction from things you're passionate about, whether they are part of work, school, or volunteering. Find ways to engage in occupational endeavors and feel appreciation for the value in your contributions. Reduce your risk from many illnesses by increasing activity levels according to your abilities. Get restful sleep at night, choose healthy foods, and explore the outdoors to reduce stress and increase energy levels. A sense of belonging and a reliable support system help during difficult times. Make at least one social connection daily. Seek advice from peers or support groups and create healthy friendships. Enhancing your connections to self, nature, and others brings balance and peace to your life. Disconnect from distractions and be mindful. Discover what values and beliefs are most important to you. Striving to maintain or make small improvements to the 8 dimensions of wellness is the key to your overall health. The pursuit of continued growth and balance in the 8 dimensions of wellness will lead to a better quality of life. In this module, you will explore each dimension and how nutrition plays a vital role in being the best you.
Okay, so that was a nice little summary of everything that we talked about today. As you can see, a lot of them have things that go hand in hand, and maybe there was a time in your life where you had a more emphasis of your wellness in a certain dimension, and maybe you need a different emphasis now. So we wanted to just take some time now for you to reflect on everything that we've said, and maybe you can pick one of the dimensions of wellness and set a goal for yourself. Just something that you want to make a change or you want to improve on, or just have a better relationship with that area of wellness. And remember to make your goal something SMART. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That means that your goal should be something that you have a timeline. I'm going to do this by this time, or this, I'm only going to do a certain amount of this activity and build my time up until I'm able to achieve that. It just helps you to have something specific in mind that you can be working towards. And if you need help with that goal, you're welcome to put it in the chat and we can help you make it more specific or measurable, or you can reach out to us on Teams later if you think of something and you need help. But we just want you to have that goal for yourself. That doesn't have to be for this month, for this week. It can be for this year, just anything that you feel can help you to improve in any of these dimensions of wellness. So feel free to let us know if you need any help with those goals. We're happy to help you at any time. This is something that we're passionate about and that we're trying to improve on as well. So we're happy to be here with you along on your journey of wellness. And so I just wanted to thank all of you for your participation today. Thank you for taking time during your lunch hour to come and listen to us and chat with us. And are there any questions about any of these dimensions of wellness? Diane Osborne said, these are all very interesting and have given me lots to think about. I am glad that I already do most of these, but have some new ideas to try too. I'm glad you liked the videos. Thank you. Yes, I know it's a lot of information all at once, but some of it's familiar. Maybe some of it was new, but I hope it helped. And yeah, you can reach out to us at any time if you ever have questions, but thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. And let us know.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Mariana, hang on for a minute. Is Tyla still there?
No, she had to go to the clinic.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I want to ask you one thing. That was good. You did good.
I'm going to stop the recording.
Yeah, stop sharing.